This is Twit.
What's good? Samsung really, they're really shipping the Galaxy Fold, right? This time it's happening?
Apparently, they have canceled yet again. We heard about the cancellations of orders back when this first launched, and then all the review units that started becoming destroyed, whether it was through improper use, carelessness, or just bad design by YouTubers, such as Dieter Bohn at The Verge, MKBHD. They recalled all of those. They revisited the design. Apparently, they strengthened it in such a way as they were confident they could actually release this product without just scrapping it. My pessimistic outlook on this from the beginning has been this is never going to ship. This is not a shipping product. This is a prototype. It is not strong enough to withstand the rigors of day-to-day smartphone use. And I think part of the problem is that as time has gone on and smartphones become so commonplace to the point where you can buy an inexpensive, like less than $200 will buy you an inexpensive unlocked smartphone anywhere.
Right.
Almost everybody who has a cell phone now has some sort of smartphone. You have to go out of your way to buy what we now call dumb phones, just a standard smartphone, or rather a standard cell phone. I even think of cell phones as being smartphones now. They're just inexorably linked from the days when I used to have a little candy bar Nokia phone that could literally only make and receive calls unless I hated myself and wanted to try T9 to respond to a text message from somebody who was somehow gifted at knowing which number combination with their thumb could send a cogent sentence. I was never good at that. And so when smartphones with keyboards started to become available, I would lust after, I want this HTC whatever. I wanted a Samsung Blackjack. At one point I had a Palm. The Palm Trios were popular for a while. And then of course the iPhone came out and everybody had to have a smartphone with a touch screen. And so like Samsung revisited their strategy famously, and within a year or so they had very, very similar looking phones. Like 2008 was the year of Android hitting the market in the G1 for the first time. And then over the course of time, it's just become so incredibly common to have this device. I promise I have a point as I rant on and on about this. It is that it's so common to just have one of these things that we treat them rather roughly. We treat them like anything. I treat them like my keys. I throw it down on the table.
Right.
I shove it in my pocket when I leave the house. It's like a wallet or keys. People leave their house with that mental checklist. Wallet, keys, cell phone, and then they can go. And I find it difficult to accept that you're going to have this fragile, folded over, extremely expensive smartphone. This is a $2,000 phone, $1,980, but a $2,000 phone that is quite fragile in the era of these are disposable items that we treat roughly and we constantly drop. And apparently they feel some of the same concerns, especially when their hand-selected YouTubers were breaking these things right and left before launch and talking about it and making this bad press for them. So they bring all these back. They strengthen the hinge a little bit. They maybe cover that exposed part of the screen people could reach their finger under and rip the screen up with. And they make it very obvious that plastic layer on top is not just a plastic film. You have to actually leave it there because that's what keeps the screen from disintegrating over time. But they're not confident that they can sell this online, is my point. So now they are canceling all of the original online pre-orders, apparently. They're providing people with $250 in store credit for the trouble, but you actually have to go into a store to buy this because they want that white glove, hands-on.
I was going to say
experience.
the bespoke white glove cell phone experience, so they can literally look you in the eye and say, "Don't try to peel this off."
Right. You understand that when you leave here, and I wouldn't be surprised if they make you sign something like when you leave here today, after we've trained you on how to use this phone for an hour, that you will not destroy your $2,000 cell phone. It reminds me of, remember the 20th anniversary Macintosh, where
vaguely,
if you bought one of these things, it was outrageous design thing. It was one of the first personal computers with an LCD screen. It had a separate standalone subwoofer. It was just a outrageous design. And if you bought one of these things, which was also stupendously expensive, a car, it wasn't just white glove. It was like chauffeur service. They would bring it to your home. They would come in and set it up for you on your desk, and they would train you on how to use it. That's what this reminds me of. It's like, this is such a premium product that we're afraid you won't get everything out of it that you could if we don't teach you how to use it. But really, it's just fear. If this was an ultra durable thing, like, oh yeah, give it to your kids, throw it down the stairs. We love this thing. It's great. You're going to love it too. But no, it's we can't sell it to you online because we don't know if you're going to peel that plastic layer off or not. So
it's, I mean, it's, on one hand, I get it. On the other hand, I mean, to put this into context, right? That 20th anniversary Mac, that was $7,500 in 1997, which would be, I don't know, like buying an $11,000 or $12,000 computer today, which is, you know, back, you know, you buy a decent used car in my universe, maybe not the fancier universes out there, you know, for $11,000, $12,000. I'm with you. I'm very curious to see who buys these, how long they hold up. It's on sale, I want to say tomorrow, September 6th, or tomorrow as of when we recorded this in Korea. France, Germany, the UK, Singapore, and the 18th U.S. release date. You know, I'm laughing because I feel like, you know, they're going to release it to the troglodytes in the States, the cowboys with their pickup trucks, and they're, you know, beating each other to death with their phones after they kind of sort out some of the early stuff, or maybe they just figure, you know, in Korea and Singapore and France and Germany and the UK, they will, you know, they won't object to having to go to a physical brick and mortar store to buy that. You know, I thought it was interesting. Engadget notes that the Fold Advantage Plus, the warranty program, is going to cover, quote, 70% of display repair costs once a year. Which actually, I guess, kind of sounds a lot like, you know, you get two massive, rebuilds if you buy a 2-year extended, you know, Super Plus Cool Guy warranty on an iPhone or an iPad. So I guess there's some logical sense there, but, you know, I'm really curious. I'm really curious to see if Seams show up, if it, you know, it's a complex piece of engineering, and people are cruel, and not even cruel. It's just, you know, like you pointed out, it's a phone's just part of your loadout when you leave the house. And I'm really curious to see how these hold up. I'm also really curious to hold one and see if it feels, you know, like holding a paperback book, or if it feels like holding a modern phone. So
yeah,
I don't know.
It's thick. When you fold it in half, it's like stacking two phones on top of each other with the air gap between them, which is disconcerting. Right. Don't put it in your back pocket, whatever you do, please. You don't want to sit.
What was that terrible crunching? Well, apparently they actually added additional metal to reinforce everything, along with that new hinge design and the seriously.
So now it's
this is
even
not
heavier than it was before. Yeah. The world's
if you're wondering,
2-pound smartphone.
Oh my goodness! You know, I've often said I will cheerfully take a thicker, sturdier phone with more battery life over a thinner device, but this is not what I was thinking.